Hello, 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 hello. That was me doing my little pre-live dance there. As I always do. Because this little thing does a little countdown. And I'm never sure whether I'm live or not. Hi there, if anybody's popping in to watch me live today, thank you very, very much. I am so incredibly grateful if you're swinging on by to watching me live either on Facebook or on YouTube today. Thank you very much indeed. And also, in the coming weeks, I'm going to be streaming out to a lot of different other places as well. But there's more cunning plans coming, which I'll tell you about later on. So, here today, I want to have a conversation about sacrifice. Now, as you know, when I come on to do one of these meanderings about the subject, generally, the way that I choose them is that something kind of sticks in my head. I'm kind of drawn to a thing to ponder. I'm drawn in to an aspect of life or an aspect of reality or a thing that intrigues me. I am this like constant ponderer of the world. There's often all these things that just sort of kind of pop out and I go, oh, that's interesting. I've never thought about that before. And then I go off on these little tangents, and the crew, my spirit collective, come with me, and we unpick and we unfold and we unfurl into an idea. And these ideas then come forward, and then that's what I bring to have a chat to you about in one of these conversations with Cat. Because we talked last week about grief and the permission to grieve that had been filtered out into the blueprint of humanity, like the entirety of humanity over these last 2 weeks. It's like we've been given permission to grieve. And so an awful lot has been coming up and being cleared around these unexpressed elements of grief that we've had in our lives, these unexpressed and unseen and unwitnessed and unknown elements where we've grieved a future we didn't have, or a past we didn't manage to live, or all of these elements of being in this state of perpetual grief that a human goes through, because we're constantly pointing ourselves into an aspect of life, into a direction, and how that unfurls and how that unfolds may not be how we actually thought it would. And so we are, as active creators of our reality now, having to bring ourselves back constantly into this state of nowness, into the state of who am I, into this state of knowing and remembering of the truth of ourselves, so that we can kind of end this pattern of perpetual grief that we're in when we feel out of control of life, when life is living us instead of us living life. So that was the pattern of last week. That was what I was feeling into last week. And what I've been feeling into this week is the energy frequency of sacrifice. As a frequency, like if we imagine, as we talked about previously, if we imagine we're weaving our world, if we are the creators of our world and we're weaving together the pattern of what we want our life to be and what we want more of in the world, and we're then choosing that pattern that we want to bring forward, we're choosing what we want to weave in. And as an active creator, that's the simplicity that we get to choose constantly. We get to choose different directions, different threads, different pieces of reality that we want to see more of, that we want to weave more of into our lives. And so this energy of sacrifice has been really rattling around in my consciousness. And I really invested a bit of time into thinking about this week, where, you know, if we look out at the world, how we've had embedded in us this belief that to be kind, we have to sacrifice. We have to sacrifice something of ourselves to bring love into this world. We have to diminish ourselves to bring love into this world. And it seems like this counter balance of like counterpull of I'm consciously creating more love. I want to be in more love. I want to show more love. I want to create more love. I want to weave more love into my world. I want to expand, and I want to be seeing more of the moreness of me, as we are all here watching this. The light weavers, the light bringers, the teachers, the creators, the way showers for the new reality. So we're all aware of how we are responsible for creating this new reality, this new weaving going forward. And if we're aware of this, then this particular thread, this piece of the weaving, is so important that we put the fucking thing down and we stop weaving it into our future. Because there is a huge difference of the energy frequencies of sacrifice and kindness. But somehow, for lots of us, especially the empaths in this world, we've bred into ourselves this belief that kindness is sacrifice. Now, this has been really shining to me this week. It's been like in my head. But let's just look at this for a little while. Because if we are creating a new future, if we are weaving a new reality, it's so important that we accept and that we are aware of what threads we are picking up and we are choosing to weave. So for me, I always want to choose a thread of kindness. Always want to be picking that up. I always want to be kind in this world. I always want to show love. I always want to show care and focus and attention. I always want to be weaving those into my world. Always. Those are threads that will be part of every single pattern that I choose to create moving forward in this world. This is so important to me. It's an element of who I am. So I will always be choosing to pick up the kindness thread. But somehow along the way, my kindness thread had also got tied into this sacrifice thread. And I'm not having it anymore. It's like, hang on a minute, how did that even happen? So if we look at the other end of this thread and we go, how did those two pieces come together? Let's just look at what sacrifice actually is. So the energy frequency of kindness is expansiveness, is love, is bringing more to the world. It's like, I want to bring more to the world. Kindness to me is an expansive energy. It's a loving energy. It's showing more love in the world. It is bringing more of the moreness of me into the world. Kindness is bringing more of the moreness of me, more of the moreness of love, more of the moreness of kindness into the world. I can be infinitely kind. It does not leave me diminished energetically in any way at all. It does not diminish me. It does not change who I am and who I believe myself to be. That kindness flows through me. That kindness is everything because it is love. And I can weave that into every single pattern that I create. That's the choice that I can make. That's the choice that you can make. That's the choice that everybody can make. How we are weaving our way forward. Sacrifice, however, has a very different frequency. Sacrifice has a frequency of diminishment. Sacrifice has a frequency of depletion. It's like, I am giving up a piece of me so that something else can happen. I am giving up a piece of me. It's a diminishment. It's a bringing down. It's an energy of depletion. It's like, I cannot have this if you are to have it. Do you see the difference in frequency there? Can you understand the difference? It's like, They are two very, very different frequencies. And kindness does not depend upon sacrifice. Kindness does not depend upon me diminishing my energy frequency in any way. In fact, if I perpetuate this belief of sacrifice, I must sacrifice so that you can have, what am I bringing into the future? What am I weaving into the world? What am I, from the network of light weavers here now, what are we all putting into this world if we are perpetuating this tied-inness between sacrifice and kindness? Kindness does not depend upon sacrifice. Sacrifice is an energy of depletion. It is an energy of diminishment. Like, I must make myself less so that this can happen. So as a light in this world, what do I want to choose to put into the next blueprint for humanity? Do I want to be weaving that in? Do I want to be perpetuating that I have to deplete so that we can bring more love into the world? I think that is a piece of bullshit, that we can just cut that thread and choose to stop weaving that tied-inness together. Because this is a moment of change for all of humanity, like we talked about last week. The moment of change, of allowing, giving us permission to release the grief, to release all of the unseen and the unwitnessed and the unknown of the grief that we as a humanity are holding on to. This point here is again where we can choose to make a huge difference to the future of reality. By choosing for ourselves what we wish to perpetuate in this world as an energy frequency. So you see the difference in the sacrifice energy is a depletion. It's a I cannot have. And therefore, if we're in the frequency of I cannot have so that you can have, I cannot have, I must deplete myself so that you can have more love. What are we actually shining into this world? We're shining and we're creating into this world more of the intention that this will perpetuate itself. And we're shining in more of the belief that there is a limit to how much kindness there is in this world. We're like creating the rule that only when I do not have, can you have. It's just, let's just stop that, shall we? As all of us light weavers here, let's just stop that. Let's just start creating the new reality that love is infinite. Kindness is infinite. We are living in an infinite, limitless universe. And energetically, the more that we create the belief systems and the weavings that this is the truth, the less and less this tied in nonsense of I must sacrifice so that you can have love it will stop losing its power. It will start losing its power, indeed. You know, we are choosing choice points. We are choosing pivot points every time we decide to pay attention to one of these strings of belief. We are choosing a new reality because we're choosing to weave something different into our own world, and that then gets radiated out to every single person that we meet. And imagine the power that we have to show to everybody around us that this tied-inness between sacrifice and kindness is no longer there. What if we were to shine into this world simple kindness? What if we were to shine into this world, there is no limit to love? There is no limit to love. There is no limit to kindness. There is not an unlimited supply. It's not like there's like a little ball of kindness, and if I have this over here, then you can't have that over there. It's just not right. It's just not the truth. So, you know, if we are in this state of sacrifice, how do we know? Well, we can just take a minute. We're going to just take a minute right now and we can go, where am I sacrificing? Where am I in sacrifice? Where am I diminishing my energy? Where am I depleting myself? Where am I depleting myself? And this is the big difference, because we can still bring kindness into the world without depleting ourselves. This is the difference. And when we're in depletion, we are perpetuating the belief that there is lack in this world. We are perpetuating the belief that there is never enough. We are perpetuating the belief that if there's never enough, then I am not enough. Because whatever we're radiating out into the world as a global aspect, as a humanity-wide aspect, we're also agreeing to for ourselves. So if we are putting out the energy frequency of lack, that there's never enough, what do I feel in myself? I perpetuate the belief, and I perpetuate the belief for my family, and I perpetuate the belief for my neighbors and my friends that we're not enough. And I'm choosing to not do that anymore. I'm choosing to catch myself. I'm choosing to go, hang on a minute. That's not what I want to weave into this world. I'm choosing to recognize the flow that takes us from there's never enough to I'm not enough, therefore I can't have because I don't deserve. And then we get to this state of therefore I can't have this so that you can have. And the whole cycle of sacrificing to bring more love into this world is perpetuated on a global level. Everything is connected, and it all starts and ends with the choices that we make of what we want to perpetuate into this world. And so let's look at this combined belief of sacrifice and kindness being tied in, because they're not. If we want to bring more love into this world, we bring more love into this world by being more loving. And it doesn't diminish me in any way, because love is infinite, because this universe is infinite, because the energy frequencies of all things exist everywhere. And we are a divine spirit witnessing ourselves in being, overcoming all of these structured, solid belief systems that have held us all in such lack of freedom. So I'm choosing to break this right here and now. I'm choosing to recognize when I'm in sacrifice, when I'm feeling the energy of depletion. And so let's just bring this before I wrap up, because you're probably screaming at the screen, yeah, but there isn't enough. Yeah, but there isn't enough. We can say we're in an infinite universe, but there isn't enough stuff. You know, we're looking out in the shops and there isn't enough stuff. There isn't enough toilet roll. There isn't enough this. But let's just look at the energy frequency of who we are in every single moment, because this is the important thing. Okay, example. You go to the supermarket, there's one apple, there's two people that want it, right? I went in for apples, the other person went in for apples, there's one apple. Let's imagine this scenario, right? So me, as a human, I can either go, oh, there's only one apple, and have a whole like catastrophizing around it. Or I can witness my own energy, and I can, in that point, if I want to, go, is it the truth that this is the very last apple in the entire universe? Is it the truth that I will never have an apple ever again? Is it the truth that I will be in some way depleted energetically for not having this apple? I know it's a simplistic thing, but let's just talk about it. So at that point, I can, if I want to, choose to be kind and go, there you go, love. You can have it. It's fine. Because that is kindness because it doesn't deplete me in any way, shape or form energetically to be kind, to show kindness, to want to choose to give that apple to the other person, because I'm energetically taking charge of my own frequency. Now, in that moment, I could also have that scenario where I've given that apple to the other person and I have felt like shit because I've gone, well, that just proves that I'm not enough, because I went to the supermarket and there's never enough apples and I never get an apple. And that whole I am not enoughness, I don't deserve, is how we have mistaken the difference between kindness being tied into sacrifice. The sacrifice element is entirely up to us. The kindness element is entirely up to us. And we have to choose who we want to be on the frequency of our own light in every single moment. So for me, I am choosing to snap the tie between sacrifice and kindness forever from this point forward in my life. Because I do not need to diminish myself or feel less deserving or less worthy or feel depleted in any way, shape or form to be kind in this world. It is not a requirement. There is infinite kindness. There is infinite love. There is infinite amounts for me to bring and weave forward kindness into my world without it being tied into sacrifice in any way, shape or form. So I would be damn sure that this has triggered quite a few things in your head, quite a few thoughty thoughts going on right now. So I'd love to know in the comments, or send me a PM. To be honest, if you want to rant at me, that's absolutely fine. Send me a message and let me know what's been triggered with this thinking today. Let me know how you're witnessing where you are diminishing through sacrifice in your life. And then choose, how can I change this to an energy frequency of kindness without the diminishment, if you still want that relationship between the giving to occur? But there's also this awareness of like, actually, how can I choose differently here? If this is making me feel so depleted, is this actually love? If this is making me feel so diminished, is this actually love? Is this actually kindness? And we get to have a whole raft of awakenings and awarenesses around these simple choices that we're making, because we're paying attention to our own energy frequency in every single minute and how that then weaves into our world. So that's my little talky talk for today. Thank you ever so much for being here. There's a few people have popped in live. I'm going to go through. Joanna, hey. Jewel, hi. Kathy, hi. Sarah, whoop whoop. And Ahmed, thank you very much. Amy, hi. Justin, hey, gorgeous. Mandy, and oh, I'm so glad it resonated with you, Joanna. So have a little thinky thought about that. If you would like to find out more about what I do as a channel and a coach and a guide and a supporter for all of us light bringers, way showers, teachers, guides, creatives, I am on my website, which is uninvented.life. And I have set live this week the ability to join me on a 6-month channeled one-to-one mentoring scheme. Okay, so this is how it's going to work. I truly, and it's been based around some of this thinking, I believe that we should all be able to tap into infinite connection. I believe, I am so grateful for having had my spirit collective, my team with me, the crew who I channel now, with me along the way to find the trueness of myself and to uncover what I'm here to do in this world. And they've held me as I've wobbled, and I've questioned and I've questioned and I've ranted and I've raved. And that has been such a gift to me. And I want to make sure that more of you have that ability. So I've put together a scheme where for 6 months, if you've worked with me previously and you know me and the crew, you can sign up and have a monthly one-to-one on Zoom with the crew, where you can get to ask your questions, you can get to unfold, you will have that direct connection to the crew for 6 months. And imagine what you can unfold in 6 months if you have a check-in every month with the crew for 6 months. Can you friggin' imagine where you're going to be and what you can uncover in that time? I am so super excited to be able to offer this. So it is limited because I'm doing it super, super cheap. So, and I'm not diminishing myself. I am not in sacrifice in any way, shape, or form when I'm offering this. I am in a state of love. I am in a state of expansion when I say, I would love to offer this. And if this calls to you, I'm only going to be opening the doors to this every couple of months. So if this calls to you right now, drop me a PM. I'll send you the details. And it's one-to-one. So you literally get to have a conversation with the crew. And those who have been having this experience are indeed having their minds blown on a regular occurrence. So you can find out more about that. You can sign up at uninvented.life/warrior, and that will take you straight through to sign up for one of those spaces if you'd like to. Otherwise, send me a PM and I'll have a conversation and we'll get that sorted out. So I'm very excited. Thank you very much. Thank you for being here. Thank you if you're watching live. Thank you if you're watching on replay. I'd love to know what's come up in your thinking today. And huge, 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 enormous love, because there is never a limit on love and kindness in this world. Let's remember that. Okay, I'm going to skedaddle off and I'll see you next week. Thursday, 3 o'clock Paris time, 2 o'clock UK time. And I think we're still 9 a.m. EST next time. There will change as the year goes on. Okay, ciao for now. Bye-bye.